What's good, YouTube, man? Guys, welcome back to episode 5 of the Free Game Podcast. Today, man, we have a big, huge episode, and towards the end of this episode, we'll be having a special guest. But before we get into the episode, guys, I am Jay.
I'm Zeke. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the Free Game.
Man. Episode 5, man. So that's a big milestone, halfway to 10, a quarter of the way to 20. So thank you guys for all the support that you guys have been giving us. Also, guys, like something quick I want to say before we get into the podcast, we have a new TikTok, we have a new Patreon, we have a new Instagram. So all those links will be down below. Make sure you guys support us on all three if you can. TikTok and IG is just a simple follow, will help us. Patreon, if you guys feel generous, you want to tip us, or you want to be able to get some extra value outside of this podcast, we'll be doing that for sure. So make sure you guys support us. We have exclusive Patreon members videos coming out soon. So like I said, if you guys want some extra value, some extra tips on how to build your credit, how to start an LLC, businesses, stuff like that, make sure you guys go ahead and support that right down there. But before we get into it, man, anything you want to say for the people, Junior?
Just want to say, hey guys, appreciate all the support you guys have been throwing at us. The views are keep going up. The subscribers, all the new subscribers. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that little subscription. That notification bell. We're putting up videos every Monday, and new episodes, and then
every
clips,
Monday.
Every other day or so. Make sure you don't miss out. Valuable information.
Yeah.
But appreciate all the support, guys. Keep at it, and we're gonna keep pumping content for you guys.
Hey man, we're Steph Curry with these podcasts, bro. We don't miss. Every Monday we got a video coming up. We don't miss a single Monday. 5 for 5. We Steph Curry back here, bro. We shoot, upload a video, it splashes every Monday. So make sure you guys tune in every Monday if you guys want more videos. Also, we have clips coming out throughout the week at random times. It's no schedule for the clips, so you just gotta tune in and have the notifications on for all that. But every Monday you guys will get a fresh, full, long podcast. All right, guys.
Yep.
All right, man. So let's get into topic number 1, man.
Let's do it, man.
1. So this episode, guys, we're gonna talk about how to start a business in 2021. Junior, man. Like I said, guys, this podcast is really great, man, because we both add value that other person might not have. Junior has an LLC. I have a business that I ran as a sole proprietor, meaning that it's just no LLC, just by myself. I'm the only person running my business. But Junior, let's talk to the people, man, about the LLC, the process of doing that. How hard is it, and do you think it's worth it, or what's your thoughts on that?
All right, yeah. So what's it called? So I went ahead and started an LLC last year. So right after COVID hit, me and my dad decided to be a partnership, and then we decided to be a LLC. It wasn't too hard, but the one thing I do tell people all the time, and I was telling Jay off camera, was that you guys have to stay committed, and you guys have to show, dedication, and you have to show time and commitment, because it's not going to be an overnight thing, guys. Like with anything, you can't become a millionaire and, just overnight. It takes time. It takes, a lot of effort, sweat, blood, tears, all that good stuff, So the way I started it was actually pretty easy, because I had friends and family that had started business before. So they recommended me either do it organically, do it step by step, get all your stuff ready to the state. But I kind of did a shortcut, man. I'm not gonna lie. I set apart $100. I went online to I'm pretty sure we'll show a screenshot of it. It's ink files. So you pretty much give them the information you need, the type of business, all the people in it and stuff, and they pretty much do everything for you. So you just put in your information, and then they build the business. There's a person that represents you, and they do all the stuff. And then I think within maybe less than a week, we were official. We had our license number, we had registration, they sent us down permits we need, because it just depends on your business. So we're a cleaning business, so we have different kinds of permits that we need. Certain cities require business licenses, but not all of them. Like, where we do most of our businesses in Torrance, we don't need a business license for what we do. So that saved us money there. But for certain other businesses, I know if you're trying to do electrician work, you're trying to do plumbing, you need certain city permits. That card costs money. You need insurance, all kinds of health insurance, liability insurance. I don't know if you guys heard of Geico. One of those is a good one. And then you have Outflag, kind of stuff like that. But it's a good way it's a good learning process, because you learn a lot about the outside of business, because it's not just saying, hey, I'm gonna open a business, I'm gonna make money for myself. It's nothing like that. Once you start getting into yeah, once you get into the nitty gritty of stuff, man, yeah, it gets complicated. You have to make sure you track everything. Bookkeeping is, not even kidding, guys, one of the most important things you have to keep
I
track
heard
of
people
because,
pay so much money just for a bookkeeper. Even a small business that doesn't
yep,
maybe have enough money, they will pay a lot of money just to have a bookkeeper.
yeah, because you have so many business expenses and like you have other things going down. We have contracts with our people that we do business with. So we have to keep contracts in place. You have to get a lawyer because you don't want to get sued by anybody because of, someone fell. So, someone got sprayed with this or something like that. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of like nitty gritty stuff. But I'm telling you guys, bookkeeping, if you don't bookkeep from day one, forget about it. Because if you don't have all those expenses down, Uncle Sam is going to be knocking on the door harder than you think. Because as a business, especially as an LLC, you get everything in gross. So it's not net pay. So when you guys go to your nine to five, whatever you guys go in there, there's a total. It says gross and then it says net. After net, that's when taxes get taken off, medical insurance, whatever, Medi-Cal, state taxes, and all that stuff.
Yep.
When you have your own business, you get everything in bulk. So you pretty much get gross, and then you say, hey, I got to take off taxes. I got to do this and that. So that's what I'm saying. If you don't bookkeep properly from the start, man, it's going to be hard to recover from that because your tax guy, your CPA, whatever, CPA is a certified personal accountant, or get like a regular account. That's why Jay said they pay lots of money, good
Yeah,
money for
man.
people just to keep them, because if you have someone that does it for you, it's super easy. Then you just throw everything at them like, hey, I spent this on gas, I spent this on internet, I spent this on rent, and then at the end of the year you do that. But since my first year, oh man, I spent like a good maybe week and a half, 2 weeks just on Excel, man, putting everything in because they need to know, to the detail what you spend, how much you spend it, what category is it for, how much was it pre-tax, how much it was it post-tax, all that stuff. So it was my fingers that week, man, brutal because you just have to keep typing because you don't want to write it down because what if
Yeah.
you lose it? So it's just better to keep it all on a soft copy. So it's not that hard, guys, but if you guys really really commit to it and you guys are certain that this is something you guys want to do, maybe could be your career. What if you went to school for business? You have to get out there, get your feet wet, what a lot of
Yeah.
people say. So if you don't do that, then it's going to be hard to kind of like just go from being a 9 to 5 employee to being your own boss, because once you're your own boss, you have to put the time, you have to put the dedication, because if you don't do that, work's not going to pop up for you.
Yeah,
When you go
man.
to 9 to 5,
It's
someone's
crazy.
controlling you, someone's telling you, hey, go do this, go do that. As your own person, you have to be like, okay, I'm to dedicate myself. I have to market right. I have to send out flyers. I have to send out emails. I have to like set up this, set up that. It's just a lot of time, but it wasn't too bad. Infile really helped out with all that paperwork and stuff because I saw the steps. It was like a 12-15 step process to get like all your stuff from like the state of California, the federal government and all that stuff. So Infile really helped out. If you guys want anything of that, you can always let us know. I can probably make a more in-depth video on that. I
Yeah.
can make it like a clip or anything like that. So, like Jay said, we have a Patreon. So if you guys ever want to hit us up, we can probably talk to you guys about that.
Yeah, man. I feel like right there and there, man. I think you said a lot right there. So I feel like they can just repeat that, rewind the video a little bit, and just nitpick at that. But yeah, man.
Yep.
So that's the LLC side of it. So it's two other ones. You can be an independent contractor. That's the people that do like Uber Eats, Uber
Yep.
drivers, gig jobs like that, like it's Instacart, stuff like that. So for that also, I dabbled a little bit into that, not to the point where I needed to do a 1099, but
Yeah.
because once you make a certain amount of money, you have to do a 1099 because you have to like,
Exactly.
yeah, do when you go do your taxes, you got to talk to them about how much miles you drove, like your insurance, you got to talk about that stuff. But let's get a little bit into the sole proprietor. So
For
for
sure.
me, I started my own Shopify store. Um, we were basically an accessory store. So basically, like how Junior did his stuff, I didn't really have to go through the whole process with the LLC. You have an EIN number, right?
Yeah.
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 So for me, when I started my business, he put in his EIN number, or like if he was in that business, he'll have to put his EIN number in. For me, since I don't have that, I just have to use my social.
Yep.
So when I had my business, everything was tracked down to my social, and it's a little bit more easier, I want to say, doing it sole proprietor way. I think sole proprietor is usually when your business is usually small. It's not really
Yeah.
too massive, and you're not doing it for kind of like a main source of income. You're doing it more for like a side hustle that can potentially get bigger.
Yeah.
So right now the business was not, I used it as kind of like an income source at the time of coronavirus to like, supplement the income at that time. We're right now the store is it's open still, but right now we're in between drops and we're gonna get a little bit more serious. And as we get more money going into this next year, I'll potentially will go to a LLC, but my business is not too serious to the point where I need an LLC like Junior needs. It's like for me, basically when I did my taxes this year, all I had to really write off was my laptop because I bought the laptop specifically for the business. And there was a few other things like obviously the inventory. I needed to buy inventory. So, but I didn't really have to. Plus, the store didn't generate too much money where it was too crazy in the income for like
Yeah.
Uncle Sam to come bashing down my door. So, like, they're not like as bad as it might sound. $1,000, $2,000, the government is not gonna come at you, come
No.
for you after that. But once you get into like the big figures, like where you're doing this for a living, like Junior, that's when they might come. They might come to your door, man. So like for sure, you want to make sure you guys do that. But like I said, sole proprietors is really great for people who are starting off a small business, man. If you're doing makeup, you're doing eyelashes, and it's pretty easy, man. It's just make sure it's kind of similar. You want to make sure you keep track of your expenses just in case, because it's a certain threshold. I think for Shopify, they wouldn't send a 1099K until you get maybe $20,000 or more in sales.
I think so, around there.
Yeah. So for me, I think we're just around like $12,000 I made. So it wasn't even close to needing to do a whole form, but I did do it on my taxes just to, just for the tax benefits of having my own business and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Because you do get some benefits for being a sole owner. So as fortunate as how bad it might sound sometimes because all these taxes they're making nowadays, but it's some crazy, benefits, man. It's some benefits, man. It's some benefits. But yeah, man. So that's basically my journey, man. So I didn't really have to go into the whole LLC form. Maybe later down the road I will have to, but as of right now, we're good, man. But so you guys can kind of see the levels of how intense each one is. LLC is kind of like you're kind of doing this for a living. You're kind of taking this a little bit more serious. So proprietor is kind of like a side hustle. Like my shoes, that might honestly I made more than $20,000 on shoes, so I'm surprised. But most of like the thing about shoes is I shouldn't even be saying this on camera, but the thing about shoes is a lot of cash transactions. So cash is really hard to get traced. So but when you have an online
pretty
business,
much.
I don't want to say too much, man. Uncle Sam might be over there looking like, damn, this nigga made this much money and they pay taxes on it. But
the IRS is listening on him, bro. Fucking
I'm gonna leave it like that, man, because I don't want no one knocking down my door, talking about like income. But yeah, guys. So that's what going on that topic. We're gonna kind of go into the levels of tax write-offs. What is a tax write-off? And I'm pretty sure, Jordan, you know about this more than I can. So what exactly is a tax write-off and how can you use this to benefit you?
So pretty much a tax write-off is anything that you spend that benefits your business. And tax write-offs, I think it depends on your state, but for most states, they're very lenient on what you can consider a tax write-off. So I'll give you guys a quick example for like ours. We drive a lot, we have a work van. So we, whenever we have to go somewhere, all the gas we use, that's a tax write-off because we're using it for business purposes. Anything that we use, I use my apartment as my home office, so I can write off a percentage of that for taxes. Because you guys have to remember, like whatever you guys can use to do a write-off, do it. Because if you don't, then you're just gonna have to pay taxes on whatever you made out of straight up. So if you made $100,000, the typical percentage is 25% for taxes, 75% for you. So just imagine if you made $100,000 and you don't do any tax write-offs, you're paying 25 grand straight up to the federal government. Besides California taxes, and California goes by bracket. So however much you make is a certain percentage. If you make 100,000, you pay like 6%. So just imagine you're paying 25 to the federal government and another, like, let's say 6 to like 10,000 for state taxes. So you're pretty much paying pretty much a third of your income to taxes. So that's why tax write-offs are very important. Pretty much anything can be a tax write-off. What I tell people is that if it benefits your business, if it's being used for your business, like Jay said, he used his laptop. Same thing with us. I don't have a laptop for my business, but I do have a desktop. We use that as a write-off. Anything that benefits that you use for your business, Wi-Fi, we tax write-off. Our cell phone, tax write-off, because we use our phone for as a work phone. Yeah, exactly. No, dude, everything, bro. I have notebooks, I have all kinds of things. My printer, we have to do send emails, we have to send flyers, cards, whatever. Anything that has the anything associated with your business can be a write-off. And I think recently I heard it. I think it was I read online, there was a story going on that like nowadays you can write off 100% of any kind of meals, like business meals. So if you take a client to say, hey, let's go get lunch, and you pay with your card, your business card, which I really recommend getting a business card. Link down below for our credit card video. I really explained that on there. You can get a business credit card. All those expenses on there should be business related. So anything you do get on there at the end of the year, if you have like the app or anything, it'll show you what your yearly expenses were. You just give that to your CPA, your account, your tax guy, and then they know that all that right there is pretty much a tax write-off. So let's say, I'll give you a quick example. If you have $100,000 in gross income, but you have, let's say, 30,000 in tax write-offs, you only get taxed on 70,000 of that. So you don't get taxed on the 100,000. So that's why a lot of people tend to like say, hey, is this a tax write-off? Most of the time, I would say just do your research. Depending on your business, talk to your CPA, talk to your tax guy, be like, hey, can I use this as a tax write-off? Most of the time they'll say yeah, or they'll be like, hey, you can maybe use like 25% of that or like 50% of that. We buy machinery all the time and they say, hey, we're gonna write it off for like 5-10 years, like a house. So instead of getting a write-off for like the whole 10,000, you'll get 2,000 every year for 5 years. So this way it can kind of be like spread out more.
Yeah. By the way, guys, not financial advice at
Nope.
all.
Right here,
Like he
yeah,
said,
guys.
talk to your CPA. We're
Your
just two
accountant, your tax guy,
guys.
yeah.
This is entertainment purposes, guys. This is
Entertainment purposes only, guys.
yeah,
Yeah. Don't ever take this
just
as financial advice.
yeah,
We're not
this is
licensed
just for
CPAs or
fun.
anything. Yeah,
This is just for fun, guys.
yep. So we'll
We
have
don't
a
know
big
what we're talking
disclaimer on the
about.
video.
But yeah, man. Hey, man, you nailed it down. You nailed it down. But what you
Yeah,
saying, boss?
yeah. No, but that's pretty much it. Just make sure you know exactly what you're talking about. Always do research. Always don't be afraid to ask. That's what I did most of the time when I first started. I told my tax guy, I was like, hey, bro, I'm gonna flood you with questions because I have no idea what I'm doing and I want to learn. And obviously going through YouTube, asking other people who have businesses. Don't be afraid to ask, guys, because if you're asking questions, that means you're learning. If you're not asking
Yeah,
questions, that means you're not learning and you're not paying attention. That means your business is not going to succeed. The only
yeah,
time I succeeded in life, I told Jay in the past, is when I failed. When I
yeah.
failed and I learned from that mistake, I did better. And then I proceeded, to just fail as many times as I can so I can get up and do better. Take one step back, but take 2 steps forward.
Yeah, man. Through
It's always my mentality.
every failure is a lesson, man. So that's
Yep.
something that I
Yep.
recently, started to think about. But this is something else. Since we're talking about how to start a business, I can probably go first and then you can go. I want to talk about like how can you get into because I know a lot of people might have this question. How do you choose a business idea? And then we can just go over this real quick before we hop into sports. But how can you choose the right business to make? So if I'm asking that to myself, you got to sit back and you got to really think about what's the need, man. That's something that you got to look around what's out and then try to find a void. You know what I'm saying? So I think one of the biggest business ideas that happened in the 2010s was Uber.
Yeah.
So back in the day, people had to take taxis and kind of taxis was kind of sketchy people. People like taxi, like I got a call. Nowadays, people don't really like to talk on the phone. People, they like to just be digital. So with Uber, you can literally order a ride, not really talk to the person, hop into the car, go to where you got to go, get dropped off, and then you're done. They just bill your credit card. So I think Uber filled a big void. And the thing about Uber that made them kind of big was, they're not using none of their real inventory. They don't got to use their own cars. They're pretty much making just straight profits and really no money really leaving until like recently. Recently they had the proposition where their people are trying to have them pay health insurance and stuff like that. I think that proposition didn't get passed, but they did, make adjustments to start paying healthcare to certain people if you do a certain amount of miles. But Uber, they're making pretty much just straight profit, straight cash. And I think that was one of the biggest, them and Airbnb were one of the biggest 2010 businesses that started. So basically you want to find something that no one else started, that's kind of like in the middle, like where no one really is really touching at, and then go ahead and attack that. And it can be something that's small or it can be something that's big, so I find like, I think personally for me, I'm not really into like the big, like I'm not trying to make any businesses that's like on the Uber level. Maybe like in the future, I have some ideas for the future, but it takes time. It's a process to get to there. I'm obviously not going to say it out loud, But
Yeah.
like for me, side hustles wise, yeah, because I don't want to give out a lot of ideas. I have this one idea that's in my head that I have.
You don't want to
It's
jinx
gonna
yourself, bro.
it's through the roof, man. It's through the roof. But I'm not gonna really go over that right now.
Stay
But
tuned, guys.
but side hustles, man. Side hustles. Find a if you want to do something that's small that can make you like a side like $20,000, $10,000 to $20,000 a year, for sure. Find some side hustles that aren't really that can fill the void. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's a lot out there. You got
100%.
to find it. The shoes is kind of big right now, but a lot of people are doing it. The market is really saturated with shoes. But you
Yeah,
can.
it's bad right now.
It's a lot of people that have business smart, because you can make a business within a niche. So basically, for shoes, people are shoe resellers. But I know some people that broke away from being a shoe reseller and they just made like a Discord group that's helping people cop shoes, and people will pay them a
Yeah.
monthly membership, like $50 a month, and that's they're just making $50 just to and they're not really making. So I'm pretty sure they're making more money off of that than they were off of like reselling shoes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
or people are like making sneaker bots, and then these bots go for like $1,000 each bot, and they get 100,000 people buying the bot. You do the math. Sometimes
Supply
just
and
go
demand,
into
man.
just go into an industry, find a need, and attack that need. So you don't necessarily have to be the frontline guy. Like, you don't have to be the shoe reseller. You can be probably the dude that's selling shoelaces, or the people who made a cleaner for the shoes. So
Yeah,
how about
100%,
you, man?
man.
Anything you got to add on to that?
The way I look at it is you guys always have to look at something, be like, hey, do I need this extra like 50 100 bucks a day? The
Yeah.
way I looked at it when we had Ricardo on here in episode 2 was, he needed out of like, it's COVID time, I got a kid, I have, I have to support a family, so I need those extra 50 to 100 bucks a day. Like Jay said, if you do the numbers and run it and be like, hey, how much is my cost of living towards like how many hours do I have in the day spare? If you have like 5-6 hours to spare, the biggest thing that went on last year during COVID was food delivery, DoorDash, Uber
Yeah.
Eats, Grubhub. They were freaking huge, man. I know people who are on wait lists, bro, for like, DoorDash and like Grubhub, because they wanted to do it because, they had nothing to do. Obviously, the
Yeah.
people who got unemployment, all that stuff, they got lazier and lazier. But if you took advantage and, you did like the side hustles, like Jay said, and just kind of get something that, you'll enjoy as well, because you don't want to be doing something that you dread, kind of like that 9 to 5 job where like, man, it's 12 o'clock, I'm getting that crash, I'm just counting down the hours. We've all had those jobs. Don't lie to yourself. You had that job where like you just dreaded, man, every day I hate going into there, every day I'm excited to get the hell out of there and just go home, but then the next day I got to do it again. So kind of look into that a little bit, guys. Think of like more the psychological things. Be like, hey, is this something I can actually do? Dedicate a bit of time. That's what a lot of people don't do nowadays. They just go into it, man, and they don't think about it. They just say, hey, I'm just gonna do it, try it out, but then they don't take the time to actually research it. They'd be like, hey, can I actually do this? If you want to do Uber but you don't have a car, then that doesn't make sense for you. So, or if you want to do sneakers, and like you don't have a phone, or you have the worst Wi-Fi in the world,
Or
it's
you don't
not
have to
gonna work for
drive
you,
to do it. Or you don't have to drive. Don't do. And then that's something that I see nowadays, man. A lot of people do stuff just because of the hype and not because they actually
Yeah,
love the thing.
100%, man.
And I think at that point now you're just losing your whole, like, I don't know the word, man, but like you're just doing stuff for the money. I don't think that's really good for your mental, because that means you're valuing money so high that you're willing to put money before your mental and your physical needs, man. And I feel like me, when I do the shoes, it gets kind of dreaded and it kind of gets kind of tiring and stuff like that. But do I really like shoes? I like shoes. Can I see myself doing this over 9 to 5? I can see me doing this over 9 to 5. Do I see the benefits of doing this stuff? Then yeah. So you guys gotta find the balance, but I feel like you shouldn't just do something 99% of the time over just because you want to just have the money, to kind of find a balance, man. Maybe 80% of his work, 20% of his happiness. That's still good. That's better than 99% work, 1% happiness, then at that point you're just, you might as well have a 9 to 5. Yeah, so top 4 teams in the Champions League, and then like what's the benefits of that though?
Yeah, so pretty much the top 4 teams, the best teams, so 1 through 4, they get a chance to go into the draw into the Champions League. So the Champions League is pretty much where like the best 4 teams out of each country. Premier League is in England, BBVA is in Spain, whatever, stuff like that. So pretty much everybody, the top 4 teams, they get into a tournament of the best teams. They're pretty much the best teams are all around Europe only, and they get to compete in a Champions League tournament, which is super fun. Everybody always tunes in for that. And then speaking of that, you have the final coming up, in a few weeks. Chelsea versus Man City. It's been a while since we've had two English Premier teams go at it. But it's going to be interesting because a lot of people had a lot of controversy with the Europa Super League.
Yeah.
Where like a bunch of like billionaires were going to give up their teams and we're not going to play for their pretty much their original team,
Yeah.
and it was going to be like crazy, man. But it's
Wait,
only
so
the
quick
top
question
four
real quick.
teams. Yeah.
So for example, Premier League, right? So
Yeah.
the number one team, so like they don't have like a playoff, like how the NBA has like a NBA playoffs to find the number one team. Do they do that for the Premier League? Or
Not for the Premier League. Some other leagues they do it, like the Spanish, the not the Spanish, the Mexican league.
yeah,
What's it called? They do pretty much what the NBA does. Well, besides the playing tournament this year, but they do one versus eight, two versus seven, et cetera, et cetera, and then they
yeah.
do that. But most teams in Europe, they usually just go whoever's first place.
And then they just then
But
basically Premier League, you just want to be in the top four to get into
to get
the
into the Champions,
so Champions League is
yeah,
pretty much the NBA championship for soccer in Europe in that area, right?
yeah,
So basically you
exactly.
don't really care about winning your division. I mean, I'm pretty sure they want to, but they just want to be in the hot top position to go into the Champions League, right?
Yeah,
Basically.
and then once you get into the Champions League, you get into groups. So you get into group stages, and then you get into like, hey, these four teams. So you play each team, and then whoever has the top two teams who get the most points, they go into the bracket. Kind
Yeah.
of like what's it called, the NCAA basketball.
Yeah, yeah.
1 versus 16, blah blah blah, and
And
then
single
they just
elimination, or is it two like
it, it's 2 games, yeah. So it's home and
okay.
away, and then the final is only 1 game.
Oh,
Yeah, so
because I heard
yeah, so
about
it's
like
kind of like
aggregate, or what's it, aggregate scores. That means like, say for example,
yeah,
one team, say it was 1-1 or 1-2 for one game. If the next game the other team scores 4 goals that had
and
one in the
then
other game, then they win. But that's kind of weird.
they
That's
did.
interesting. What the heck?
Yeah. So it's very confusing, but like well, once you get into like the nitty gritty,
Yeah,
it gets
it's really
exciting, man.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's it
man.
called?
So, oh yeah.
Because
So basically, oh yeah. No, you got it.
no, no, you go ahead.
No, so yeah, because I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, I got into like the whole Champions League thing and like the Premier League, and I was tuning in. I wasn't watching every single game, but I was tuning in every like a few games, and I was like, man, like I really would like want to have a team over here. So I started looking at each player, and I remember like back in the 2014s, like 2014, 2013, they had the World Cup, and I remember I remember watching literally like my first World Cup game live, and it was Korea versus someone. And I remember like seeing like certain players in the Korea team. I think it was dude going off. I think his name is Sun. I know he
Yeah.
plays for Tottenham. So I was
Yep.
like, I'm like, bro, this dude is out here hooping, like he's going crazy out here. So ever since then, I was a fan of him. And then once I found out that he played, I don't know if he was at Tottenham at that time, but once I found out that he was on Tottenham, I was like, all right, that's my team. Cause I was drawn into that guy. So now I don't even have a Tottenham jersey in there, man. So basically like seeing that, and then I think they were in the final a couple years ago against Liverpool. Then Liverpool, I think they like whooped on them a little bit. That one dude,
Yeah.
Mohamed Salah, what's his name?
Yeah.
Saleh.
Mohad Salah.
Yeah,
Mohamed
but
Salah.
that
Yeah.
dude is like crazy. He's a beast. But yeah, man. So it gets really exciting. I'm like, damn, man, this is like really exciting, man. Especially with soccer being really low, like not it's fast paced, but it's low scoring sometimes. So it's like, damn, like one goal can really be the make all. Like once you go behind a goal, you have the whole match to try to get that goal back, and it's not as easy as it looks, man. It's so hard, bro. Man, it's crazy.
If you look at it like theoretically, besides like the US, soccer is the number one sport in every other
Yeah, for
country.
sure,
You don't hear
1000%.
you don't hear too much about basketball outside the US. You don't hear too much about like football, American football.
Yeah,
That's what they call it. The Europeans, the Spanish, they all call it football.
yeah.
You go to Europe, you go to England, you'd be like, yeah, man, let's play some football. They'd be like, all right, they start kicking the soccer, like, no, like, I'm QB, you're wide receiver. Like, they could be like,
Yeah,
no, bro. Like, what do you use to kick it with your foot, right? So it's a football.
yeah.
But yeah, but it gets exciting, man. That's why I was so bummed out last year with freaking COVID, getting rid of the World Cup, because I was excited, man. I would, you know, 4 year. No, it wasn't the World Cup. It was the Olympics, right? Last year that
Yeah.
got canceled. I was so excited, man, because I love those Olympics, man. Like the soccer games in there, the racing, Usain Bolt, he got me into it in 2008. I was like
Wait, so
rooting for this
soccer, they have
guy.
soccer's in the Olympics?
Yeah.
Oh, that is it.
I
As
think it
is
was
it the same as is it the same as like the World Cup, or is it?
it's not as exciting as the World Cup. They don't go as hard, but what's it
Mm,
called? They do play like tournaments and they do play like group stages and stuff like
mm.
that. But yeah, man, I'm excited in 2 years and next year the World Cup. You know, it's gonna be in, I think, Qatar.
Yeah, I
It's
heard
gonna
about
it's not
that. I
gonna
heard
be
a
in
lot of
a.
people. I heard a lot of people have been like dying, like constructing some of the stadiums out there. So I'm like, God damn, bro, like this is serious. Like, especially like I guess that happened in Brazil too a couple years back. Like
Yep.
people are literally like passing away making these stadiums, and it's crazy though. The messed up part about it is usually after the Olympics and after the World Cup and all that stuff ends, usually most of those stadiums are like abandoned and they're like really like.
After that,
If you
yeah.
guys go on Google right now and look up the was it the 20 or the Brazil World Cup stadiums, look at them now. They're all like missing chairs,
They're all
like
done.
stuff
Yeah.
is done for us. Like grass growing up out of anywhere. It looks like a ghost town in there, but it's crazy, man. Soccer,
Yeah,
man,
because
it's lit.
it's crazy, man. What's it called? It's gonna be in 2022 next year, but the only thing is it's not gonna be during the summer because Qatar, they have a
Oh yeah.
122, 120-degree weather, so they're gonna do it during the winter. So
Okay.
it's gonna be interesting to see that. Yeah. So you're all used to seeing the World Cup in the summer, but you don't want
Yeah.
them dying out there of heat stroke, man. I'm
Man,
excited for
for real.
2026, man. It's gonna be in the US in 2026.
Is
So
it?
I'm
Oh, bro, we're gonna be
for sure,
damn.
bro.
That's
It's gonna be
crazy.
for sure. One of the stadiums here in LA, they're gonna be building a
Uh
stadium here. So
That's gonna be
you
so it's
know,
gonna be like throughout the like so they might have some games like in Washington DC, LA,
New York,
Texas or something. Yeah.
Chicago, Florida,
Damn, that's
yeah,
gonna be
Texas.
lit, bro. That might be lit,
Yeah,
man.
man. You already know, so people are already saving money to go to like
Bro,
all
I'm
the
s- I'm
games, bro.
just finding out about that now. I'm gonna start saving up money for that now, man. And we already live here, man. But I want to for sure try to go to like the especially like the big games, like the semifinals, the finals. I want to make sure
Oh,
I'm
it's
there,
lit,
man.
dude. I can just seeing it on TV, man. Everybody, in colors, everybody, wasted, singing along. And then you just feel that energy, bro. Like, I don't know if you ever seen it. Like, you ever been to like a pub or anything like that? Like, I went to go see when I think it was a World Cup final against it was Argentina versus Germany in the World Cup final.
Yeah,
When Germany scored that goal, bro, you can feel the energy. Just like
yeah.
everybody was like, it was it was insane because I you can just feel the energy of everybody just going insanely nuts, bro. Like it's a feeling you can't replicate. I know it's you get that from basketball, football, but it's
Yeah.
just
It's
like you said,
different.
it just takes one goal, bro, and then that's the game changer. But
And I think it's different because it's your nation, bro. Like I think with basketball, like LA, like it's kind of like LA then Chicago, but like for World Cup, it's you're representing your country, so it's crazy. And
exactly,
it's
a lot
but
of
it
pride.
sucks, man. What's up with the United States, man? I heard they didn't qualify.
They did, bro.
Bro, these dudes are, bro. How do we have one of the best developed countries with some of the best athletes? Apparently, I guess they just don't play soccer, I guess, in the United States. But what's up with them, man? Like, can you bet? Like, can you explain to me, like, what's up with them? Like, weren't they good at one point or decent at
they
least?
they were semi decent the last few years, but they just can't qualify, man. They're losing to just third world countries. They're losing to they lost to Guatemala, bro. They lost to Honduras. Obviously, they lost to Mexico, and I think the last qualifier they lost to Panama, bro. Panama, Dejan. Like, who loses to
Yeah, I know.
Panama,
I
bro?
heard, but I know Panama's pretty good, pretty trash. Not
Yeah,
good, they're trash. But man, like I think honestly, man, if I had to think about it, the only person I really know, like the like big names for the United States, right? So I know Clem Dempsey, I know Howard, the goalkeeper. I forgot like his first name. Clem
Tim
Dempsey,
Howard,
Howard, Tim Howard. Yeah. What's his name? London Donovan. London Donovan.
Landon Donovan. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're all
I
retired
know.
already, bro.
Yeah, see, so like all the OGs, some of these new people. I know there's that one dude that plays for that Germany's team. I forgot his name, but I know he's pretty good. He's a midfield. Christian Pulisic.
Oh, but Pulisic, he plays
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Chelsea. He
Yeah.
plays for
He's
Chelsea.
good for United States, but I'm like, bro, like I'm pretty sure he wants to go to a different country. Apparently, like I mean, if I was him, I'm like, bro, can I like transfer countries or something? Like, is that possible?
For
Like,
real.
damn, become a resident over here. Like, so I feel sad for people like that, like, because it's every 4 years. So now you got like your whole career is probably like 12 to 15 years, man. That's already 8 years gone down the drain, man. So
For
it's
real,
crazy,
man.
man. They need some more
Yeah.
athletes, probably. They probably need like everyone here wants to play football, basketball. We need some people that want to play football to come and do soccer or something like that, or I don't know, man. I don't know what it is, but it makes sense that they lose to like Panama or something like that. Because I guess out there, man, when you look at videos of like those countries, they're out like 2, 3 years old, like or be realistically, they're like 6, 7 years old, and they're out there playing soccer with no shoes on in the dirt. So it kind of makes sense because I feel like they have more heart than we do out here, maybe. And
Yeah,
usually, but I don't know, man. I can't really explain like what's going on, man. Especially being a person that's not really into soccer fully like that. But if I had to guess, maybe their heart is not into it. I guess I don't know, man.
it
But
just
plus,
really
United States
depends,
not that
man.
big.
Yeah,
Plus, yeah,
it's not crazy.